It is 7 o'clock on February 16th. I'd like to call this meeting of the Economic Development Commission to order. Roll call starting on the left.
Adrian.
June Gagnon.
Mary Ann Chinati.
Adrian Paulson.
Ava Colonna.
Okay, we have a quorum. Any additions to the agenda? I have none. Okay. Approval of minutes from January 19th. Did everybody review them? And if so, have we got a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Public participation? None. Okay, reports. The only report that I have tonight is there is progress being made on the Interrail site. I am quite excited about it. We have an interested developer who has come out to the site and walked it with me 2 times, last week and again this week. And he's extremely excited about the work that's going on there and looking forward to hopefully working with the town on his vision for the Interroyal site. I did talk with Manu Chandy this morning about additional funding for the project, and if she can get it cleared through EPA, we will be having an additional $300,000 to continue the work in the project, because a lot of the problem is they can't get in to complete their assessment that they need to do because of the vegetation and debris. So we're looking at doing removal of some of the debris and clearing the vegetation so they can get in and finish up their testing that they need to do. So I'm excited about this. I'm excited about this. This is really great news for the town.
Can I ask a question on that? Are you able to reveal who the developer is or what?
No, not right now. And that is pretty much, I think last one I mentioned that the Lathrop Road sidewalks and Shepherd Hill sidewalks should be completed this construction season, so that's a good thing. Let's see, okay, now moving on to old business. If I could ask someone to make a motion, I'd like to reverse the order, and I will make a mental note to do that on the agendas going forward so that we can hear the ARPA business grant program before we get into the weeds of the Economic Development Commission plan update.
Such a motion.
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Jordan,
All right, thank
the
you.
floor is yours.
Thanks. All right, so since we last met, the attorney gave the thumbs up on all of the, do you all have this?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. All of the blue applications that were reviewed by you folks and the Board of Selectmen, the attorney gave the thumbs up. And then I wrote up a draft contract. Turns out the attorney had worked on a contract with other towns, so those contracts together. I'll make sure that you guys all get copies of the cover page. I won't send the full, because some of the contracts are going to be 100-something pages. And then they'll also be available once this is all done. All of this paperwork is going to be filed with the town clerk with certain information redacted. It's a pretty standard contract. After speaking with the attorney, we're doing it similar to some towns where the grantees will have to demonstrate that the funds have been obligated before we release them. So they either have to have a signed purchase order or be able to demonstrate that the money's going to be spent within 5 days, I think it's 5 to 10 days from receiving the funds. So that's very exciting. And then in front of you is 4 applications. and if awarded the full amount, will basically bring us to the end of the initial program. Obviously, if certain things come up short, that'll be added to the remaining funds, and then we can re-examine applications in the future. But I'm sure there will be a little bit of a break before that. Some notes, I don't know what version you have, but Marianne raised a good point this morning. I had mislabeled Longos.
Yeah, I made copies of
You
what
did?
you sent me. Yeah, so
Okay.
they've got the current version.
Okay, perfect, yeah, that was my mistake. They're definitely not a nonprofit.
I said, Pizza
yeah.
House nonprofit, really?
Yeah, that was a silly mistake. But the only discussion point I would say is we're in a unique situation where one business owner submitted 2 applications. This was the only case of that for existing businesses. And there's nothing in the policy that says that one owner can't receive two awards, but that's not for me to decide. It's whatever you would like to recommend to the Board of Selectmen. I'm indifferent.
So tonight we're looking at Bubbles, Cloud9, Distinctive Touch, and Longos.
Correct.
Regarding that, I don't know how anybody else feels, but there are others that are pending, which are still in white on the list, and for lack, needing more information or whatever. And I think if we allocate 2 grants, granted they're 2 different businesses, but it's the same owner, I think that would slight another business. I think it would be a better idea. For example, Distinctive Touch shows that they've had $155,532 in loss, and Bubbles has $50,896. So, in my mind, I think that it would be appropriate to award Distinctive Touch and take no action on Bubbles, because they are the same owner, because that would, for someone who they're waiting on more information, because there's only like, what, 3,000 something left right now?
Yeah, I
right?
think it's 3,900.
Yeah, so that would allow one of these other businesses that Jordan is still waiting on information.
Is there more money coming?
So this would be the money that's already come. So we've expended, or we're about to expend 246,000. And then the board had approved an additional 100,000 for a grand total of 350,000 into this program. So this would be that 100,000.
Right.
Yeah,
This is the
349,000.
Because it says it would leave 3,900 in the program. That's the money that came so far, is that what you're saying?
Oh, the 3,900 would be unexpended. So that would be in the account basically until there's more funding, or ultimately we can award that 3,900 to a business who's applied, or we could potentially start accepting other applications on a rolling basis. Because some of them, so just updates, I have to go and speak with him. His application, he did not fill out basically any of the questions. He provided documentation, so I haven't even had a chance to speak with him. Quality Homemakers, they're working on getting quotes, but they were missing a lot in their application as well. Salon 41, she's been very responsive, but she's having trouble justifying the loss. I think it's there, it's just getting the documentation to support it has been difficult. And then the last one, the Zoo House one, that's someone who also already received an award, and that I don't think is a priority, and that's a startup. I think we kind of agreed that maybe that one stays on the shelf for a while. So currently there will be 3,900 left, depending on what happens with as Marianne was talking about, the Distinctive Touch versus.
But we did already say that we were going to recommend to give these, last time we voted,
Oh, yes.
to give them all this.
Yes, all of the blue, yeah.
money.
The blue we're not looking at tonight. Tonight we're looking at the green.
Yes. And then one other
Well,
suggestion.
I was just reading what was written here.
What's the red or the pink?
Oh, that's the ones that you voted those were the applications that were ineligible or
Okay, yeah.
entirely unresponsive, and I notified each of them,
Mhm.
and they seemed to be understanding. So back to the bubbles and distinctive, another option too would be you could ask him which one he feels he needs it more, but that's, like I said, that's just an option.
In my mind,
Mhm.
I would think distinctive needs it more because it's got a much higher loss. It's got almost 3 times the loss.
Right, yeah. And his application for distinctive, he actually was able to provide documentation of every cancellation. And he had, a lot.
Do you need a motion for that, or?
Well, actually, the motion would be, all right, you agree with me and you want to make a motion?
Yes.
Okay, so we're going to go with Cloud9, Distinctive Touch, and Longos.
Okay, so I'll make a motion that.
Okay, and state the dollar amount.
Okay, so, Cloud9, to be approved for $25,000. Distinctive Touch Salon for $25,000. And Lagos Connecticut Incorporated for $25,000. Should be awarded. Just those three.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, so 3 out of the 4.
Okay, perfect, so
Okay.
then, and then, so would you like me to, reopen the application to allow for additional,
I think with the ones that are still pending,
Yeah.
Jordan, I think it would be best to give them an opportunity to complete their folders before asking someone else, and someone else jumps in front of them, because they're already in the pipeline.
right, sounds good,
Okay?
thanks.
All right, thank you.
No problem, thank you.
And I apologize for my phone, it's new and annoying. I thought I shut it off and actually turned it on.
Happens another time that phone's not in.
Quite all right. Okay, moving on to the Economic Development Plan update. I asked members last month to go through their copies of the 2020 plan and redline to discuss tonight what they would like to see. So, Ava, why don't we start with you?
Okay.
And if you could speak up, I'd like to catch it on here so that we can make sure that we get things accurate.
I get it, okay. Okay, I did a lot of scratching off of this because I just took my time, read through it, and when ideas started flowing, I just started going like this and writing stuff down. And then I typed it so I could read it. So basically, I'm saying, I think some of the important actions are, and I try to keep everything sounding more simple because as I was telling Mary Ann, I look at Plainfield as rural but developing. And I thought that this plan, and this is just my opinion, and nobody has to agree, I thought this plan was more catering to like a city, like Norwich or New London. So I'm just looking at it from a different perspective. And also I had, years back before, as COVID was happening, Mary Ann had assigned us certain things to do from there. And one of my things was I was going to go to people in the 4 villages and see what they would want to build their, economy. And what I got from them mostly was, well, we want just some place where we can all go and, bring families, see our friends that live in Plainfield. So they were looking more like for community, not a division of, each village. And then I even talked to people who were visiting in Plainfield from outside the area, and they gave me their input. So anyway, but we never got far with that, so that ended. But anyway, so I kept thinking about that because I kept some notes. But anyway, here's what I'll read that I thought were important actions. I think that as per the original action plan, which is dated 2020, that we do need to prepare a data package outlining how we can help businesses become established in Plainfield And I think that's important, whether the new business is from outside the community or from within the community. And when I mean from within the community, maybe it's a home business that they've outgrown their home, but they don't know what to do or whatever, and we can help them with that. Maybe by offering, if there are more grant monies available and whatnot, or any kind of information that we have available that we could help them with, contacts, things like that. Parts of it is, I kept thinking, Plainfield really isn't a great place in eastern Connecticut. We're like a major roadway hub. I mean, it's easy, and I know it from doing little ski trips with my family, to go to Vermont or New Hampshire or Maine, and Rhode Island is right next door. So I think it's really important to really talk about that. But in addition to that, I also think it's important to me, it would be to me, that we talk about like some of the learning institutions that are nearby, like UConn and Dartmouth, and then you have UMass and all over, Massachusetts, and then you have Brown University and Johnson and Wales.
In our community colleges.
In our community colleges, I didn't put it in there, but you're absolutely right. But this is, you can add stuff, do whatever you want with it. Throw it away, whatever. It's just my thoughts on how I see everything. And I just thought that if we also list these really important businesses, colleges, education centers, whatever, that might tickle like a business looking to relocate or an industry thinking, oh, well, yeah, because I know that my son has a new job and he's learning to be, I forget what it's called, it's like a collider engineer, like the big one in Switzerland, but it's small, it's a medical version. So that's what he's studying now. And that's like not too far from us, just outside of Boston. And then there's another one in New Hampshire. And I'm thinking, well, what if that company wants to come down this way or bring a branch down this way, then we would have this, data information, whatever package to send them. And we might even just, and I'm going to jump around here, we may even just work with a local real estate agency. It would be nice to work with some local, if we can keep it in Plainfield, and have them reach out to some of these agencies that are, if we can do that, outside of the state, to see if they may want to relocate down this way, because we are in such a good position. And of course, the package would have to include things like demographics, values of housing, I suppose, workforce, availability, that kind of thing. You don't want me to go through all this.
Can I ask you a question?
Oh, sure.
Cool. What kind of package are you thinking of, like format-wise or development, or are you thinking?
Oh, I was not that far ahead. I take things one step at a time, but it would be a complete data package. That would be easy to produce, and someone looking at it, it would kind of entice them. And then I think they need to come here and see some new people, and that would be the rest of it, don't you think? One dining, but not really like that, but you know what I mean.
No, I get it.
Yeah. I just had a lot of things. I think that we all need to establish a monthly visits to our locality, to our businesses. And I don't mean all of us go at once or in the same month, but like if somebody said, well, I'll go, for 3 months or whatever, and everybody take a turn just so that people in the community get to know all of us. I just think that's important. Maybe I have nothing better to do right now.
Stop.
I'm just teasing. I do have a weird sense of humor. And then Mary Ann informed me, we are members of the Plainfield Business Association, so that's a great thing. So she's going to bring me to our next meeting, right? So I want to do that, because I think that's really important too. Because then when you develop, I was in sales for 41 years, and when you develop a relationship with somebody, and they really start trusting you, that's how you make your business grow. So that would help us by them knowing us more intimately and knowing more of us as well. Don't you think?
Totally.
Okay. And then I feel like home-based businesses, we need to reach out to them.
Absolutely.
And having worked with you and learning that some of them weren't even registered, right? A few, and they need to be. So maybe we put an ad in the Turnpike Buyer every couple of months saying, if you're home-based industry in Plainfield, we just want to let you know, if you're not registered with us, you're going to lose out on opportunities like grant money and this, that, and the other. Just to like try to get them out of the board work, plus the fact that it's required, you should do this.
Yeah,
I mean, I just think somehow we should let them know. And I think it would be our responsibility, I don't know what you think. I like the idea of keeping the greenway. I like that idea of keeping that going. And then I just kept thinking and thinking, and I go, you know, and being the grant writer, can like farms and places like that get grants? Could they get grants if they were going to like do educational seminars for people? Do you think?
There's some grants out there for private businesses. Mary Ann might know some as well.
Yeah. Department of Agriculture has a lot of funding opportunities.
Wouldn't that be great?
For
Then if
farms.
they could have like maybe one place that, just beekeeping, maybe they could put on a seminar. And you get certified. I mean, it doesn't have to be like hundreds of people, but like 5 people come, you get certified and you can do that. Or gardening, or like a master gardening kind of thing. I don't know, it's just little things that if we get into woven with the community on that, it's going to boost our, recognition, et
Yeah,
cetera, et cetera. Yeah. And what was the last thing? Oh, I like the idea of a river, what did she call it? I forget, but it has to do with the river. And having like maybe an annual river event. Because Plainfield is beautiful, it's right
Yep,
there.
absolutely.
You know? How, I don't know, I don't have answers to everything, these are just
Yep.
it's like my wish list is what it
Mhm,
is. And as I said, I like to keep things simple because it's going to be hard to do too many things. You can only do a few things really well at first, and then once you get going, it becomes easier because
Yeah.
you've learned the ropes.
Yep.
That's it.
Okay. Adrian?
I'm gonna follow that. I mean, I mostly had my say when I did my presentation as far as what my ideas, I guess I could recapitulate that. I agree with a lot of what you're saying, Eva. My concern is, yes, keeping it simple is a good idea. I think we were talking about leads last time.
Talking about who?
Leads,
Oh,
having
yeah.
people be in charge of particular, the business analysis is what we call them tracks.
Yep,
But
yep.
particular lanes, so each action item or a couple of them could be under the supervision of a particular lead. My big concern is we may have a lot of ideas or even a couple ideas, but if they just stay ideas, they don't go anywhere. So we have to figure out together as a team essentially how we're going to do that. So.
Yeah, but we need to figure out what they are first.
Right. Well, I would say in general, the minus the 2 that were kind of marked out for possibly being excluded, I think the rest of them can be kept on the list. And if we can work out some kind of priority list to focus on the top 5, like you were saying, keep it simple, but not exclude the rest from the list, because a lot of these are integrated together, interconnected. So once you get one done, like you're saying, you get a good deal of progress in one of these top 5, then move forward to the next 5. I mean, yeah.
Do you mind if I say something?
No, of course, yeah.
Well, I was just thinking when you're saying that, but in the meantime, we can still go to, like, the PBA meetings
I want to
and
go,
whatnot,
absolutely.
and the monthly or weekly visits to the businesses. But yes, you're right, just take one idea at a time, and let's get that at its completion, then we can go on to something else. I can't, even at home, I can't do like, you become scattered and you can't finish any one project in a timely manner, right? Is that what you're?
Yeah, so I had a question. What's preventing us from, as a group, working on preparing a data package? Is there anything really blocking us from picking someone to take lead on that? Or have a subcommittee that focuses on that?
I think a subcommittee would be a good idea, and their first charge would be figure out what they want to put in it.
Okay, I don't know if you need to make a motion for that, but certainly.
No, to volunteer is fine.
Okay, certainly that's something I'd be interested in being on the subcommittee, it sounds like maybe you would be, but preparing a good data package and figuring out what are the channels for promoting the data package once you have one, that'd be part of it. It's one thing to have a package, you also have to figure out how you're going to get it out to the public. I had recommended in our last meeting that the Economic Development Commission create some kind of Facebook page. The Economic Development Commission has a Facebook page. That would add to our channels if we create one. And I'm happy to co-manage it as long as somebody else on this commission is willing to learn and do it with me, because I don't want to be the only person in charge in case something happens to me and I have to step down or something. It'd be preferable to have someone else be trained.
I'll need to check with Kevin to make sure that it's appropriate to have a separate Facebook page.
Okay, other
As
towns in
opposed to-
Connecticut do.
I know they do, but we're Plainfield.
I wanted to speak on that.
Okay.
Is it okay?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. For 5 years, we've been videoing town meetings and also covering other things that take place, events that take place in town. And I've been putting it out on a YouTube channel. I've been putting it out on a Facebook page. And let me tell you, my experience is there's a lot of competition out there. And we are not going to be successful by being in competition with the town. Now last night, Jordan talked about a trifold that he's going to be making for the town, to promote the town, a trifold brochure, which was what I was going to propose that I could do for economic development.
Okay.
I've been wanting to do this since I've been on this committee for 3 years and I've done nothing. So let me tell you something. Having another Facebook page is not going to help. There's too much competition. We need to be connected with the town. We need to be working together with the town. I don't know how that's going to happen, but it really concerns me because I've been on this committee for 3 years. We haven't done anything, and I think that's partly the reason we're disconnected from the town.
Can I respond?
Yes, go ahead.
I don't agree with you in regard to that. Like, having a Facebook page isn't going to compete with the town. It's just another media method for exposure.
Have you had experience with it?
Yes, I do have experience managing Facebook accounts. They can work in tandem. You can literally have the same message on the town profile.
It's not going to happen. It hasn't happened with me. It's not going to happen. The town has not used anything that I've put out there. I've had to fight to put it out there on Facebook. Now since they have economic development going on here with Jordan, and they're putting out, Mark has the rep page, it's all competition. So if we put anything out, it should be connected with the town. People are going to see that fast.
I agree with you on that.
Yeah.
It should be connected, but
It's not going to be connected unless we decide, unless we can work with the town.
I agree with you there 100%, that we need to be having regular communication, not just with the town, but with the Agricultural Commission, because they have a thing.
They have their own page too.
Right, but that's okay. But if we're communicating with them, we have some understanding.
Well, what I'm thinking is we have, if you look at the town website, okay? And right now, the Lions Club is advertising on there, the Veterans is advertising on there. Why is not economic development advertising on there for the businesses in town? We should be doing that too. It should be on the town
I don't
website.
disagree with that. I agree with that.
Yeah.
I just don't think that having a separate media channel is a negative. That just means more.
Well, I have,
some people are
and nobody, the town does not connect with it, doesn't recognize it, never has recognized, it's free.
Wait, what is it?
Our channel, I've had a channel for 5 years for Plainfield.
Are you talking Watchdog?
Yeah,
That is a little bit different, but I guess I can't speak to that. I don't know the.
but I've had experience trying to get it connected with the town, and the town won't do it. And I wanted to do a brochure for, I don't know how long, since I saw the old brochures that were done. And now the town's doing it. So economic development, I mean, are we gonna do a counter brochure? I wanted to do a brochure for people when they came into town, or for the businesses that are in town, which we visit all the time, we frequent, we use, we go to them, we know them, and it's not done in a way that is organized. It's done in a way that we simply do it.
Wait, who's the we? Sorry about that.
My husband and I,
Okay.
as citizens here,
Yeah.
we visit, and we know a lot of the business owners here.
Well,
So-
I mean,
My concern is we start separating more and more from the town, and this is part of the town. What is the good of the Economic Development Commission? Really, there's no good here.
well, we can do a lot of things. I mean, I guess
Well,
that's
I would hope so.
I guess that's why I'm advocating, it doesn't have to be Facebook, it's just, there are a lot of, there's a
But I'm hoping
billion
we
plus
can
people.
connect, not even through our channel, just that we can even connect with the town, with what we do.
What
That's
I was-
all I'm saying.
What I was trying to say
It's
is,
not your concern.
can I finish my point?
Yeah.
The virtue of having a social media profile as opposed to relying exclusively on the town website to communicate information is that the town website does not have as many doesn't have as many viewers in the pool of viewers compared to Facebook. Facebook has 1 billion plus people, so there will be residents of other towns that will see our posts that
You'll see,
may get interested.
you're competing with, you are competing with the flow of, if you know that, how many viewers do you have on your page that you're talking about? You've done pages, right?
Yeah,
You have
yeah.
viewers, do you know how many viewers?
Yeah, and Facebook,
You see how fast everything goes through, not everybody uses it.
No, but I guess that's the thing, is Facebook offers
The
it.
town uses it, the town Facebook page gets used and seen.
Right,
And the website grow, the website really needs to grow, there should be more on that website from this town.
I agree with that as well.
Yeah.
I'm not
So if
disagreeing
we're
with that.
contributing to that website, whoever's managing it, if we're allowed to contribute and put what we need as economic development, our views, we need to be connected with it. That's what I'm saying.
There's one thing about the town's website as far as the economic development. I mean, we have an economic development page, but with the way that the website is set up, it's really difficult to find things.
It
You know, I mean,
But it
Who's designing that?
that was put out to a company to design.
Revise.
Was it?
Revise is the
Well,
name.
who designed actual graphics and everything? Why can't they be changed? Or is it just stuck like that?
I don't
Yeah.
think it's stagnant. I do
Yeah.
believe it can be, revised and updated, but I am not technologically savvy. I don't know what that process is. I know that Kyle had been handling the majority of uploads, and Mary Ellen uploads to the Facebook page as well. But I don't know how to do it, and I don't know what's involved. And I think maybe it would be beneficial to have a separate, maybe at another meeting, a conversation with the first selectman to talk about doing this, as
Sure.
opposed to us sitting here
Okay.
and
That's
coming
just
up
I
with-
have some
No,
strong
I
feelings
get
because
it.
I have
I
a
get
lot of experience now.
Yeah.
I have 5 years of experience, even longer, 20 years of experience using online resources. But as far as doing something for the town, and I did it for free, we do this for free. This is not anywhere, in any way, shape, or form connected financially with the town. But I've covered a lot of events here and advertised for things, and it's just my way of, I'm an audio-visual person, I'm not, whatever,
So-
statistics or whatever.
So on next month's agenda, I'll make sure that we invite the first selectman to come so that we can
Good
talk
idea.
about, Kevin, talk about the intermingling.
Sounds good.
Katie, would you please remind me to include that on the agenda?
I can also come too to talk about the website. I've done quite a bit with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you plug things in, don't you, like on Facebook and stuff?
Yes.
Yeah, you do a lot of that.
Okay.
I have another point. I had raised the idea of workshops or focus groups. I don't know if that's something we can also explore that might go along with what you were talking about as far as, meeting with local businesses, local business owners, figuring out their needs. It's an option, that or a survey, something to get the word out, to get information from people beyond just having interviews, which is another method. But you might get more information in a setting like that, like a focus group or something like that. If you can put some kind of survey out saying, hey, are you interested in coming to talk about X number of issues? We'd have to identify what we want to talk about. I'm just putting the general idea out there. So we would definitely have to figure out where would we want to prioritize that energy.
Okay, so you want that as part of the updated plan, you think that would be a good inclusion?
Yeah.
What would you call this? And I think we should start with a survey before a focus group.
Totally, that's usually how you do it. You do a
So-
survey to figure out what you're gonna do focus group on.
And what would you title this?
Well, let's peg it to one of the actual action items we had, because there was one that talked about something like, if you give me a second, I'm just gonna do the action items. I don't want to pull things out of thin air. There was, well, let's see. There's engage with community members from each area village within Plainfield to determine the project priorities. So something like that, but cut out the priority project part,
Yeah,
but
because,
engaging with community members. So engaging with community members and local businesses to determine their needs.
If you're gonna do a survey, you've gotta get it out there to more than just putting it on, a few people see it. Because these surveys that have been coming up, and there's 100 people, you know, 150.
Yeah,
well, that's-
And then they base it on that.
community members and businesses for what?
Oh, to identify their needs.
Okay.
I guess we could say economic and community needs. But I guess that's why I'm advocating.
What type of questions?
You want, I don't have any, I mean, I could come up with.
Maybe
some
that-
few minutes.
I mean, this would just be a new item on the plan, so when it
We'd have
comes
to
time
work
to
on
look at it, then that's
Okay.
when the questions would be created.
Well, like, yeah, I think you were mentioning, community members had wanted to see, some kind of place to gather. So one question could be, you know,
Not an individual village,
Right.
they're looking more for community.
right, like a
integration,
like a
which I
community
thought
center or
was
something,
nice,
you know,
yeah.
like, you could have a question about that, like, are you interested in, you know, and then you could have a follow-up question, could you provide some examples of?
They loved it when they had the meetings in Musa.
Oh, the village visioning sessions were so
And,
successful.
what was the other one that was here?
Yeah, Plainfield.
But I guess that, to go back to what we were talking about a minute ago, that's why it's important to have different media platforms, so when we get a survey together, we have different places to put it out there where different sets of eyes are looking at it. So there's generally one universal set of eyes looking at the town website in general, it's not changing too much. Facebook, again, similar, so yes, maybe Facebook, maybe not, but several different media outlets for getting our survey out there. It's not, you're right about that, we can't just be satisfied with putting a website on
No,
the town.
right,
Yeah.
you've got to try and find, if you can afford it.
Well,
If it's free,
there's a lot of
if
free,
whatever.
you know, Facebook is free, that's, I guess, why.
Well, we know that's free, there's a lot of competition, honestly, not over the same things, I'm just talking about competition for time, for your time.
True,
To
true,
look
true.
at it,
Mhm.
whatever device you use, and there's a lot of information passing quickly, and you really have to be diligent.
Yeah, well, sounds like
To
you
make-
need some research to figure out how to.
I've done a lot of it. I've gone without putting anything out, let it see where it goes, just put it out in one spot.
Mhm.
I've gone and put it out in 5 different spots. And it doesn't mean just because you have views that people are engaging with it.
Right.
I mean, that's the
Right.
thing. You know, you see that, 1,600 people looked at it, but it doesn't mean they really read it. They just saw it go by, you know.
Right,
Mhm.
So we know how fast and how competitive that field is. We shouldn't be competing with the town. This commission should be working with the town. I feel very strongly about that. Because otherwise, we're just sitting here talking.
Yeah.
And I've done it for 3 years, right?
Yeah.
3 years.
Yeah.
I've been a quorum member for, I feel like I've never done anything I wanted to do. I so wanted to make a brochure for the town. I feel like I'm gonna make my own damn brochure.
We could work together.
That would be nice.
Yeah.
I'd love that.
Yeah.
I
There
would
you
love
go.
that.
She's good at graphics.
Yeah.
I did a lot of advertising, but
Yeah.
there was nobody here for things that we had.
So I think it was promote engagement and activity around the rivers. I totally agree with you about that. It would be nice to come up with a plan for that. And then obviously connect with the board of selectmen, get some buy-in.
Where do we have a way to get down to Red River? Where?
Quite a while, but we have a way right now.
I wish that those paths were done, those trails are so important.
Well, having some kind of plan
Yeah,
would be good.
but where, you know, I'm just thinking where.
There's several really good spots right now that you can go and access the river, you know, so we can talk about that.
Yeah.
Is it on private property?
No, there's
You know,
the hatchery.
yeah.
The hatchery,
yeah.
the Hatchery's a good spot to access the Quinnebog, it's beautiful, it's publicly accessible,
Mhm.
you know, that's a good example. The bridge that crosses over.
Are you talking about the fish hatchery?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
oh, sure.
A lot of
Yeah.
people walk around there.
That's
Oh,
a
yeah,
popular
it's gorgeous.
story.
So,
That should
yeah.
tell us something in our development. That hatchery is very popular.
Oh, yeah.
And people really respect it.
Well, that's what
A
I'm
lot of
saying,
people
you
walk
know.
their dogs, bring their horses, and they respect it. It's clean. It's, I think it is, every time we
No,
go.
it's clean. That's
Yeah.
all.
Oh, yeah, I'm gonna say, my friend and her husband go often because they live on that hill.
Right.
And they said we believe the number of eagles in sight
Mm.
all the time.
Mhm.
Now, that would be special.
Yeah.
So wherever, there's a lot,
If we can,
my stuff is just
stay
general
warm.
ideas.
Pardon me?
Yeah, I
Stay
just,
warm.
like, I think we need to come up with
Yeah.
plans to execute those ideas, you know,
Right.
absolutely.
As long as we can use it, you know, for something public.
Yeah. So I don't know if we need to put that down as like making a plan specifically to make that happen, because we already have it on the list. I think we just need to say specifically that we're gonna develop a plan to implement that.
I've never been there, so I don't.
You've never been to the hatchery?
No,
Oh,
I should
it's
go down
gorgeous.
there. I've
It's
never been
awesome.
down there.
Yeah, it's more.
I hesitate to go out and just by myself.
Oh,
Because,
it's
you know,
a place,
that's
yeah,
so
there's a
and
lot.
that's kind of. out
There's
there.
always somebody there, pretty much, you know, and
Yeah, lots of fields for frisbee and, you know, trails, so it's not.
dog people, but they,
Oh,
see,
you
they
can
all
bring-
get
you can
along.
bring your dogs.
Oh, yeah.
The dogs,
Yeah,
people
right.
bring their dogs and they all get along.
Oh,
The dogs get along.
That's all I got. I could go on more, but maybe for any time.
Well, basically, all I did was, I did redline the document, but I didn't, changes that I made, I mostly noted from what is already here, what of these things we currently can do, like, for example, for the data package, it outlines bullets.
Mhm.
This information is all available, it just hasn't been compiled yet.
Okay.
You know, and with the commercial real estate available, Jordan was assigned the task of keeping up that inventory.
Mhm.
So that's this, and the COVID-19 suggestion that's in here, I do think that that should come out,
I agree.
yeah, I agree.
because,
Oh, that was out of date.
Yeah,
that was
yeah.
When she was here.
Did-
And on some of, mine are basically comments in response to the recommendation, really. For the familiarization tour, for example,
Mhm.
that could involve a substantial financial commitment. So maybe we want to think about adding something like that to fiscal year 24-25 budget,
Yes.
you know? And engaging with the Eastern Connecticut Land Bank, I do that on a regular basis.
Mhm.
And monitor DECD Office of Brownfield Redevelopment for funding, I do that on a regular basis, and I apply for grants regularly. And engaging with economic development partner organizations and connect them to local businesses. We belong to pretty much every single one of these. And in contact with them also on a regular basis. And the remote workers, that's really important, like the home occupations. And, you know, I mean, they're not remote, but they're disconnected.
Yes.
So I think it's important that we do need to reach out to them, not only to get them registered with a trade name, but what do they need? Where are you in your business? What can we do for you? You know what I mean? So I think that we need to be more proactive in that. And the same with the remote workers, because, you know, I mean, granted, they may be working for a company, but that company might need assistance in one way or another. And we do need to revive those village visioning sessions. We really do. And we need to complete them. We did, like June was saying, we did Moosic, we did Plainfield. But that was in, what, 2018? 2018. And we didn't get to Warrigan, we didn't get to Central Village, but we need to get them all done. We need to take the information that we glean from those meetings. We opened it up to residents and businesses.
We recorded them.
Yes.
They are on They are.
Yeah, and they're a great watch. What do you want to see here? What's important to you? What needs to be addressed?
It was exciting
They
just
look
to see so many people.
Yeah, it
Most
was.
of us.
Most of
packed.
us, it really was.
Yeah.
So what happened afterwards though?
Nothing.
Okay, so if we're gonna do it again, to make sure that nothing happens after we do it, that something happens.
Oh, God, yeah, absolutely,
So, again, we
absolutely.
have to plan for that.
Yeah.
And, like,
They
I would
probably
highly
go again,
recommend-
the Moosup people would probably go to it again. I've heard.
Oh, I have no
I've
doubt,
heard-
I have no
yeah,
doubt.
Yeah.
if we do it again, we gotta make sure we can transcribe it, because if we transcribe it, then we can break it down and figure out what was said and put it in categories of actionable, not actionable,
Mhm.
et cetera.
You know, we had big, you know, the
Yeah,
paper, the pads, the
Yeah.
easels,
yeah,
and the former first selectman, she would write down whenever someone would make a suggestion,
Yeah.
she'd write it down.
yeah.
And we had Mark Jewell there to talk about, when we were in Moosup, to talk about the connection with the Moosup Valley State Park Trail.
Nice.
And so, you know, that was important, and it was very well received, and we had high school students from Plainfield High who were graphics students help us with some graphics. So, you
Nice.
know, it was a really, really good program. It was a really good program.
I think that's important, getting the high school students
Yeah.
involved in some of the projects that we're doing as well.
Mhm.
Definitely.
And as far as this, and I mentioned this before, the create a plan prioritizing investment in municipal projects, we have absolutely no authority whatsoever. We can make suggestions, we can make recommendations. We cannot create a plan and get buy-in from the boards and the commissions, because it's the Board of Selectmen that ultimately makes determinations on municipal projects. And we can make suggestions, we can have input, but this is not something that we should be responsible for.
So maybe instead of making a plan, a list of suggestions? That's not a plan.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Well, because if we don't have any, like, as June was saying, what is the Economic Development Commission for?
Mhm.
I believe that they just have an advisory role, that's a fact.
Yeah, that's exactly what we are. We are an advisory board.
So we can make suggestions, that's it, you know?
Yeah.
the top 5 suggestions or something, very simple, but that we can point to, you know?
Yeah.
So would you come up with your top 5 by having these?
Well, that's what he's saying, figure out
meetings?
Yeah,
And
the
then-
village visioning that, yeah.
absolutely, yes, yeah,
That
absolutely.
makes sense.
Well, that's because these are all interconnected, really, you know?
Right.
We pass out a survey at one of those meetings.
Right?
Yeah,
Right?
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
And you know, I don't know about you guys, but I don't like to take long surveys.
No,
I
Yeah.
like
5
to
questions
answer
is good. If you
5?
could do
I
5, yeah,
like
5
to
is
do
good.
2. 2 and 2.
2 is good, but
But
if you,
that's me.
no, that's actually
So-
pretty common. The issue is you don't get a ton of information with 2.
But you don't have to fill them all
Depends
out.
what you ask.
know.
That's true, you could also do it where you have randomized, so you have a set of maybe like 8 questions, and one person gets 2 questions, one person gets 2 questions, and one person gets 2 questions, so not everybody's answers, but you get your answers.
Right.
So that's one way to do it, so you don't get bored.
That's clever.
Mr. Matho, I can see your mind, your gears going.
I know, but that's very clever.
And as far as the East Coast Greenway, that's an ongoing
Yes.
process. And I think I've mentioned before that we did get the funding for the Route 205 to Central Village portion of it.
That's awesome.
It really is. Of course, the federal government has to figure out how it's going to get the money, what process it's going to use to get the money to the DOT, and then the DOT is going to have to figure out the process it's going to use to set up the project numbers
So
and
it's gonna be like
allocate the
6
funds.
years before.
No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not.
Everybody has to have.
But,
Plenty of
yeah.
paperwork.
And the problem with the Killing Leach at 205 is that the trail is proposed to go through a major portion of deep property, which is a wildlife corridor. So they really don't want the trail to go through the corridor. And problem is though, that's got a lot of illegal ATV use on it, and it's just, and it's
Sure.
decimating the land.
Right,
So if the trail was put in, we've got to try to figure out a way to convince Steve that when the trail goes in, you've got more responsible eyes.
because would it be a pedestrian trail?
Yeah,
Multi-purpose trail,
What is
no
nice?
motorized vehicle, no motorized anything.
And so they could be reported,
Yeah.
videotaped,
Yeah.
and whatever.
I don't know why Deep's not doing better enforcement there, but.
Yeah,
I
they are low on staff.
They're very low, they must be at zero, because I've called several times for several issues, and I get no return calls. I email them, but I get no return calls.
And, you know, I mean, I like the format of the plan, and I think that the suggestions are good. Like Ava says, we're more rural, so could it be simpler? I don't know, this is a pretty simple plan. It's all of what? 3,
Yeah, it's not too.
8 pages, 6 pages? So
No,
I think
I know
it's,
what you mean, it's not many pages.
Yeah.
I just like, I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. In my idea, simple is like, you know, just don't use trendy words, don't use.
Yeah.
Keep it simple so the
Yeah.
average person. or
yeah, no, I
ordinary
totally
person
get it, I
gets
totally get it.
And
All right, so June,
Yeah,
suggestions? Or are you good with what we've discussed?
yeah, I think I did. There was something that Art had on his notes, because I had his copy, about having people come to our meetings
Mhm.
from those Eastern Regional Tourism District Chamber of Commerce, maybe having some kind of an event during the time that we have EDC meetings, have someone come and speak, maybe from Lascaux Valley, or just,
maybe that would bring in.
but yeah, and have people come to it.
That would
Yeah,
be-
you have this on your copy.
Jim, if I may suggest this, you should bring some of your pamphlets and things in that you've done in the past, because they're excellent.
The what?
Your pamphlets and whatnot that you've created,
Oh, sure, well,
because they're really excellent, and then everybody can get a taste of what you do.
yeah, sure.
I think it's good.
Yeah, I was gonna say pamphlet sounds like it belongs somewhere as an output plan.
Well, there were some from the past,
Yeah.
I even have copies of those from someone that was on economic development many years ago. And they did have one, and it was handed out, and they brought it to businesses around here, and so people could see them when they came into town, in the town hall. But they're gonna be making one.
Okay, so why don't we do this then? I will make an attempt to compile the suggestions into an updated document and get it around so that members can review it before the meeting next month.
Sounds awesome.
And that can basically be our jumping off point,
Okay.
okay?
And I just had another thought, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Because I was listening to everything that June was saying. And what if June could make us a really cool economic development, what we can do for you, kind of a pamphlet, and just get it out to all the people?
Should that be on
We
the
look for that?
Just something, keep it, simple, but show them that what we can do for them, you've got a whole business, we can help you. put you
We
in
do have
touch.
some publishing money, right? Or do we have?
Yeah, we do.
Okay.
Oh, good.
Should
Well,
we add that?
actually, my economic development department has,
That's what I'm
my
saying.
departmental budget, yeah.
Okay.
Should we add that as an action? Is that gonna be added to the plan?
Well, it could be,
'Cause I
but,
like that.
yeah.
Could we have, I don't want to impose on June because I know you're busy, but could we have you do a sample one? So we can make an action on it?
Yeah.
No?
Yeah.
So we can see, because we might have suggestions.
Definitely.
I don't know, I'm just saying.
I had to say something. This
Good for you.
Marianne, if I might, I have two comments.
Mhm.
Partnering with the state at the hatchery,
Yep.
if you could do an event there, the town with the state, I think is a good idea.
Oh, yeah.
And the other suggestion I would
What
have,
kind of an event?
oh, I don't know, on the water,
Yeah.
like they were talking about, the river event.
Even.
Okay.
Yeah, or
river
city.
event.
So
Yeah.
beach,
And the other thing, I was thinking, is perhaps the Economic Development Commission might want to get a table at the job fair in April,
Mhm.
so that they can meet you.
Oh, yeah.
You could be there at the job fair.
Yes,
So that's
that'd be
April.
a great idea.
I forgot what day, it's April, I
It's
don't know.
April,
You know,
I
Jordan?
wrote that down.
20,
That's-
April 20th,
20th.
3 to 7.
Yeah.
The agricultural committee is having one Monday.
Job fair?
For that? No, not.
They're-
No, they're at the market.
They're having a
Winter
market.
market.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
That's
But
the
that-
18th of this month, of March.
It's that sort of thing though, that's an opportunity for us to work with them or get a table there potentially, so that, you know.
I don't think it's too late to get it.
No, it's too late now.
Job fair.
This year it's too late, but next year,
Well,
if we
that
keep
is
meetings, we
connected
were
with
talking
job-
about.
Oh, yeah, this is the job fair. It is connected with job fair, and people go there because economic development is connected to the business.
Mhm.
Mhm.
That makes sense.
Well, that's also an opportunity to have surveys. If you're at a table and you get a survey, just,
Oh, yeah,
Yes.
especially if it's like two.
yeah, like a 2 or 3 questions.
Two-question survey.
Yeah,
That's it.
It's a question
No,
survey.
No, but you're
They
totally
can
right.
fill out
I
what
don't
they
wanna-
want. If they
Yeah,
have 10
yeah.
questions and say, you know, you don't have to answer all of them.
Right,
Yeah.
Just try to get ideas.
Okay, so are we ready to move on?
Yes.
Okay.
I-
New
I-
business.
I have a
Pardon.
question. So the subcommittee thing, are we gonna move to that next month, or how's that gonna work?
Who would volunteer, besides Adrian, to be on the data package subcommittee?
Data package, what are you
Yeah,
talking about?
Prepare a data package.
You know, the informational package.
Right, we would all be on that, wouldn't we? Because we all
Yeah,
have,
I don't see why not.
yeah.
Yeah. Just, we
So
would,
So then
we would
it's
meet,
not,
we
it's
would-
not a subcommittee.
Well, we did that with planning and zoning.
well, we would be
Cannabis
meeting on a day other than
commission.
today, that's the thing. So, I don't know how you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
we-
we
Today
would
we
be-
provide an update on it.
It wouldn't be addressed, it would be a workshop meeting,
Right,
separate from.
right. Yeah, so, but that's not a subcommittee, it's just the,
No.
okay, yeah. Yeah, it would be better to have everyone have input. That'd be great.
Okay, so that being said, what is everyone's schedule? And I don't have a calendar with me.
I can pull up my calendar.
When would people prefer to meet?
Pretty open, or flexible, I should say.
You're saying Monday through Friday, right?
Monday through Thursday.
Monday
Monday
through
through
Thursday,
Thursday.
sorry.
Wow, Thursdays, probably the only one for me. But we're here on a Thursday.
So it would have to be
So,
either
have to be like the
the
fifth,
4th or the
yeah,
the second
fifth, the
Thursday.
fifth Thursday or something.
Fifth Monday,
The fifth will never meet.
3 times a year.
Right.
All right,
That's great.
why don't we set workshops for 7 o'clock on the 4th Thursday?
Okay.
Okay.
Put that in my calendar.
All right,
Starting in which month?
next month.
Okay, thank you.
That should probably need a motion.
Pardon?
That should probably need a motion.
Do you want to make that motion?
Yeah, why don't you?
I make a motion that the Economic Development Commission meets to work on a data package for public release on the 22nd, no, sorry, the 23rd. Is that
Just
correct?
say the 4th Thursday of every
The
month.
4th Thursday of every month at 7 p.m. Sorry,
I'll second
here
that.
in this building,
And how long, how many meetings?
until it's done.
Yeah,
Okay. And you seconded?
Yes.
Okay.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries, thank you. And moving on to new business. On your agendas was a link to the To Market YouTube presentation that June did for one of the past winter markets.
Oh, no, it's
It's-
for this one.
That was for this one?
Yes, it is, because I had photos from past markets in there to show what they're like.
Oh.
So that one is current.
Okay,
That's why I said, go ahead if you wanted to
Okay, I'm sorry, I
That's okay.
misunderstood. I
That's okay.
misunderstood. So basically it was to advertise this one
Yeah,
and
yeah,
that.
it's
Okay.
out there to advertise
Yeah.
this one.
So have you had a chance to look at it? Adrian, have you looked at it?
I'm trying to find it now.
Oh.
You should be able to pull it up.
But that was just an example of what June was suggesting, because they have been doing videos for many years. And it would be, I think, beneficial to the town to get promotional videos out there for people to watch so that they can see what's going on here
Because they may not know.
and why this is a great place to be.
Right, yeah.
There's the link. I totally didn't see that link.
Huh,
But
okay.
I'll have to check it out. I
Um,
trust your
Well,
skills.
we gotta see if we could put it out and submit it to the town website.
Yeah, I think that would be,
That would start us
Yeah.
connecting with the
Does that
town.
require a motion?
Did you see it?
I did not see it.
We should send it. I'll make a note to say.
Oh,
Appreciate it.
okay,
Good.
thank you. Just sitting and trying to think what to do.
Okay, and then I will talk with the first selectman to make sure that that we get the okay from him before we go ahead and do it. And also maybe think about what kind of videos we'd like to do going forward.
Right,
Yeah.
job fair coming up.
Yep.
Something like that.
And who's going to be interviewed? You've got a lot
Oh,
of
yeah.
things, so,
It's always fun, you know. But it dawned on me that, you know, they had these every year from, except for COVID. There were 2 years they
Yeah.
couldn't have them.
Yeah.
And they're getting bigger and bigger and more popular, and they're raising money for this incredible scholarship for someone going into ag. So, you know, I was inspired by that. And I
Yeah.
thought, well, you know, we could share it with people who, they're advertising like crazy on Facebook, but it may not be enough. So,
Okay, so I'll talk with Kevin about that. Do we have anything else? Correspondence was emailed to everybody, the trade name certificate updated. I don't have any other correspondence. So if we have nothing else, do we have a motion
I'll
to
make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries at 8:03.